Hey everyone, welcome to the show today. Sorry I was absent last week. Just had a lot to get done and a lot to do, but happy to be back. And I have a postcard of the week. I'm going to go ahead and pull it up on the screen, but I'll leave it up a little while for people that are late coming in, because I know unless you get here in the first 5 or 10 minutes, you have to rewind for the postcard of the week. But the one I have today is from my personal collection. Share image. And I decided to keep this one because Rockaway Park, Long Island is not a great seller, and I decided this postcard is worth more to me to keep than it would be worth for me to sell. We have Hal Ottaway in the chat. Welcome in, Hal. This card is Washington Avenue from 5th Avenue, Rockaway Park, Long Island, which I believe is in Queens. I don't know all of the New York City boroughs and neighborhoods, but I think this is Queens. But this is just a great view of Washington Avenue. And I don't have, I have the back on my phone, not my computer. So I want to look at the back to see if I can tell around what date it's from, because obviously it's still dirt roads, but there are trolleys, and you also have a horse-drawn wagon. So let me see if I can look at the back. Okay, yeah, it is a divided back, so probably, or not probably, it is 1907 or later. And you've got the reason why I like this image so much is you have a Kodak store at the very forefront of the image on the left, and it looks like they also sell other things. So the store owner is Chubbuck's, and he's got Kodak, soda, cigars. And I can't tell what that last one is. It looks kind of like sporting goods. Sorry, I keep going to get closer to my screen and then coming back to go speak into the mic. Ashley is here. Welcome in, Ashley. Glad you could make the postcard of the week. But yeah, the Chubbuck store in the front of the image and the Kodak sign was my favorite part. But next to it, you have a pharmacy, and it's also pretty neat that all of the shop owners or whoever was working in the shops that day came out for the photo. So you've got them standing in front of the store, and then you have what looks like a horse delivery wagon parked in front of the pharmacy right there. And yeah, it's just a really nice street view. You've got what looks to be residential housing on the right side of the street, and then of course the two trolley tracks down the street, which shouldn't be too surprising since it's New York City. But of course, any smaller towns usually just have one, but you have, I am assuming they used it for opposite directions. So um, the one on the right going down the road, and the one on the left coming to the foreground of the image. But yeah, this one is in my personal collection, and it will probably stay there forever. It does have a little bit of residue on the front, and I didn't even actually notice that until I had it, blown up and pulled it up for this video. But just a really nice real photo, and I love real photos like that. And it looks like, too, I don't know if that's at the pharmacy or another restaurant next door, but it looks like next door to the pharmacy is selling seafood. So cool view of streets, or not streets, stores on the left, and then houses on the right. All right, that is my postcard of the day. There we go, back to full screen. How's everybody doing? How are your sales doing? Are they doing well? Are they doing poor? I know we had somebody comment on my video yesterday and said that their sales were not doing well, unfortunately. Like I said, if you watched my video yesterday, you know how my sales were last week, but they were really good, and I didn't quite know why, because I didn't list any incredible postcards last week. But yeah, I sold a lot of great postcards last week and had a really good week. And hopefully that continues. I actually had somebody emailed me from a company that makes thermal printers, and they offered to send me one for free if I do a review video. So I think I'm going to take them up on that, just because the only thermal printer I know of is the Rollo, and it's worked well for me, but it would be nice if I had a less expensive option to recommend if it worked just as well. And I didn't really want to buy one myself because I don't need one, but if they're gonna send me one for free, then yeah, sure, I'll review it. So yeah, I'll probably be doing that in a couple weeks whenever they send me that. But it looks like you can just do an honest review. I don't think there's not. I don't know how bad a thermal printer could possibly be to have a really negative review. I mean, like as long as it prints labels, then it's gonna be good enough for me. So it's not like I'm gonna be super critical of the speed or quality of the ink or anything like that. Old man in the stream says average sales for me. Yeah, I thought it would be an average week for me too, but maybe the algorithm is smiling down upon me. But I got off to a good start. For this week, I got off to a good start yesterday, but today has been really slow so far. So, um, and last week, every single day was really good pretty much, which is why it was such a good week. But usually I have one or two slow days at the beginning of the week. So if today's a really slow day, then that might be a bearer of bad news for this week, but I'm doing everything I can. So, Laura says hello, everyone. Welcome in, Laura. But yeah, the quality of cards I'm listing, I think I mean, I've talked about this in previous videos, but I try to prioritize listing really good stuff when I get really good stuff in. So, like if I get, RPPCs of train depots, stuff that I know is going to sell for really good money, I will put that to the front of the line in front of all the other boxes I have behind me to list. And I don't currently have anything, currently don't have any cards like that where I'm like, oh, I know this one is going to do crazy good. Like really good Halloween or really good RPPCs, stuff like that. But I do have some really good cards that I just like wouldn't have expected them to be that good. Like today, I listed this Disney card, and it hasn't sold yet, but it's there aren't currently any available, and it's I'm trying to pull it up here. If I can find it, I'll put it on the screen. It's a Disney. I think it's a pre-opening card from Tomorrowland. But yeah, saw that it had sold for as much as $70 or $80 in the past on eBay, but more recently, it was going for around 50 or 60, and some were lower too if they were at auction. And actually, what am I doing? I can just search for the postcard. I forgot that eBay has the search function now, which is great. So I priced mine at the higher end of what they'd sold in the last few years, but uh, yeah, I am the only one who has this currently listed. So let me just go ahead and share my screen. Yeah, this one I just listed today, and I didn't know that it was. I think it's pre-opening. I don't know for sure, but at least maybe pre-opening of Tomorrowland. I don't know much about Disney. I've never been. But at the very least, it's an early Disney card, and it's a really hard to find card. Um, yeah, like I said, on eBay at the higher end, they've sold around 60, 70, $80. But there were some auctions that had sold for around 15 to 20, so I think mine might take a little while to sell, but since I am the only one out there, and mine is in pretty good shape, I think I'll be able to get around $50 to $60 for it. And this one, I had no idea. I'm not a Disney postcard expert by any means. I just saw this card and I was like, I don't think I've seen that Disney card before. So I put it in my stack to list. Sometimes I'm wrong and the card is really common and it's a $4 or $5 card. Every now and then I find a nice card like that. But yeah, even though I've been listing, what I consider more average stuff recently, just not necessarily average, but just stuff that isn't knocking it out of the park. Um, I've been surprised my sales have still been so good, but not going to complain at all. Old Man in the Stream said you sold some great cards. Yeah, this last week. If anybody hasn't watched the What Sold video from yesterday, there are some really good cards in there. So, some weeks I'll admit I'm a little bit I lack for content and don't really have much to talk about. But last week I had a lot of cards to show, so it was a good week. I had one baseball postcard, and it was a group of men that were dressed as women, and they were supposedly a baseball team, or they were at least at like a baseball stadium, and on it it said the ball club or whatever. That one I think I sold for around $78. My best sale of the week was a paper moon, and there was an advertising cutout of a woman drinking a bottle of something, and that one sold for 150. And I don't know if I underpriced that one because it really sold so close after I listed it. It was like within an hour or so after I listed it, it sold. So I may have underpriced that one. I admit I'm not the best at pricing paper moons. I know that, you can get at least $50 to $100 out of most paper moons, and some can go for a lot more if there's something different going on or something unique about it. And I knew mine was unique, but I didn't know exactly how unique. So I priced it at 150, but I maybe could have gotten a little bit more. But hard to complain about selling a card for $150. Lise said joining late, but good afternoon. Welcome in, Lise. Brad said, hello everyone. Welcome in, Brad. But yeah, I'm getting some more postcards in. Should be within the next week or two. That is some really good stuff. So, I always try to get some really good stuff. It's always tough because money is a limited resource, and I can't just buy all of the great postcards that I want to. But I try to balance getting a consistent income every month, but also getting a consistent stream of really great new postcards that I'm listing. CJ said, howdy, welcome in, CJ. But yeah, I was gonna say to that, I'm gonna do a video for Patreon next week about my favorite auctioneers and auction houses to buy from. This past week I did a video about ones that I like to avoid. So if you're a member on Patreon, I think the video next week will be a really helpful one, and one that I just wouldn't be able to put out on YouTube because that would be too much competition sent to these auctioneers, and it's bad enough as it is. But the one that I'm getting this group of postcards in within the next week or two is going to be one that I'm going to talk about in the video next week. So that was the point of me telling that entire story. Old Man in the Stream said, picked up a nice mid-century nightstand I'm going to use for postcard storage. Nice. Made by the Davis Cabinet Company in Nashville, Tennessee. I don't think there's a way for you to put a picture in the chat. Well, maybe since you're a mod, you can. Actually, sorry, what am I thinking? YouTube doesn't have a feature to put pictures in the chat, but you are a mod, so you can add links to the chat. So if you do have like a link to the picture online, drop that in the chat because I'd love to see what that looks like. I love old furniture and stuff like that. I bought a small collection of postcards a few weeks ago, and I bought it from an online auction. It was a really nice lot, but the point of the story isn't about the lot. It came with a couple of filing cabinet drawers, and they emailed me before they shipped it out and said, hey, do you want us to ship the drawers? It'll be a lot cheaper if we just ship the postcards. And unfortunately, I didn't see their email in time to tell them to only ship the postcards. So they shipped the little filing cabinet drawers with the postcards, or it was the postcards were in the filing cabinet drawers. And it's actually really nice because it's like the perfect size for postcards. I don't know if it was made for postcards. Probably not. Probably made for like index cards or something like that. But I'm actually glad that they sent them, or sent that little piece of, I guess, furniture. I don't know. What do you call a filing cabinet? Is it a piece of furniture? But I have it right over there now, so I'm gonna use that for future storage in some capacity. I haven't figured out exactly what I'm going to do with it yet, but anything that can store postcards is always a good investment in my opinion. Even though I don't know. Part of me wishes I was trying to point to that cabinet behind me. Part of me wishes, sorry, it's hard. Everything's backwards. Part of me wishes I wouldn't have bought the cabinet behind me because it's not the best at storing postcards. It's obviously not that tall, and it doesn't store the longer postcard boxes. It only stores the shorter archival boxes. So, and I had to reinforce the shelves because it was made for holding shoes, so it wasn't built to hold the type of weight that boxes of postcards are. So part of me wishes that I never would have bought it and I could just have another set of shelves behind me right there. But another part of me likes that it looks a little different. So anything different that you have for storing postcards is pretty cool. And I bought a few postcard boxes recently too. Fortunately, competition for postcard boxes is a lot lower than it is for the actual postcards. So I think I got it for around $10 or so. And it's just a nice early 1900s woodcut box for storing postcards in. But yeah, anything like that is always really cool. CJ said, I bought an album of about 220 Grusauce postcards from 1897 to 1915. Hope there are a couple good ones in there. Yeah, there should be. I don't. I am not the one to ask about international postcards, European especially. I just don't know much. Although I did list a couple German postcards today. One really cool one that was of an auto racing track, but I just don't really list them. I have some Grusauce that I got in a collection. It's had to have been at least 2 or 3 years now, and I haven't even listed them yet because every time they come up for me to list, like, and if I get to the box that they're in, I just put them to the back of the last box, so they keep getting pushed back, just because I hate doing the research for international postcards. But yeah, they can definitely sell for good money for sure. I don't know that from experience. I just know that from watching Popeye's Postcards video about Grusauce postcards, and I think he sold some for, I want to say around $50 to $60. CJ said, "Wish I could use Del Camp, but they don't work in Michigan." Yeah, Del Camp would probably be the best place to sell them since they have so many European users and European cards. We're banned in Georgia too, so I'm right there with you. I can't use it either. Although, if you're in a state that is not banned, it can be a good place to source postcards from because you can pick out individual cards. Honestly, I used to buy a lot from Del Camp back before it was banned, and I would before I went to postcard shows, there were some dealers that would sell on Del Camp that would set prices like individual or like in-person postcard dealers, like $1, $2, $3 a card. So I bought a lot of cards on Del Camp for myself and to resell. So if you live in a state that does have access to Del Camp, you can probably still find a lot of good cards on there, even if you're just looking to resell them. Brad said, Daniel, I recently watched a video you did about a year ago where you showed a card where the publisher had inserted a tiny car near a post office. Oh, yeah. It looked really funny. Are such cards collected? Um, I don't. I'm sure. I don't know of collectors that specifically go after those and are like, yeah, I collect ones where the proportion of stuff is way off because obviously I bet there are probably a couple collectors that I don't know of, but I've never heard or I've never met any or heard of any, and I've never seen a presentation about it or anything, so I don't know for sure, and I don't know of the name for it because it's a um, very specific type of thing because a lot of the printers in the early 1900s were in Germany, and a lot of the drugstores or general stores that were ordering postcards, I don't know if it's something where the publisher or printer, it was an upsell and it was like, hey, for an extra you know for an extra 10 cents for 1,000 cards, we can add a trolley to your image or an airplane. I don't know if it was an upsell or if the drugstore told them directly, like, please, we want to appear more modern, so please add a trolley or an airplane or something like that. Uh, but it was definitely a thing where printers or publishers would add in cars, airplanes, trolleys, trains to make a town appear more modern or up to date, just because that was the latest technology at the time. Um, but I don't, and a lot of times the proportions looked ridiculous because the people making the postcards weren't, they didn't live in the town. They didn't know what the building actually looked like. The only thing they had to go off is a photograph. So the card that Brad is talking about is a card that's sold now, but it was a really funny card because it was this post office. I think it was like a two-story post office maybe, but the way the publisher put the car in, it looked like a Hot Wheels car, and they made the building look gigantic. So every now and then you find a card like that where whatever they added to the card just looks ridiculous. Sometimes they do a good job, and you can barely even tell that there wasn't actually a trolley in the image, or at least in the original photograph that the postcard is based off of. But yeah, sometimes it looks ridiculous. And Brad said, I wondered if it would be worth it to use weird proportions or something like that in the description. Yeah, I think it would. The problem is I don't know exactly what those collectors call it. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's already an established term for that because, I mean, I'm learning things every single day, and I learn about new areas of collecting that I had no idea existed all the time. So I wouldn't be surprised if collectors of that already have a name that they use, and that sellers on eBay are already using a name to describe that. But I just don't know what it is, and I don't think it's super common to collect that. Jenny said, finally made a live stream. Welcome in, Jenny. Liquor, interesting name, said, how long does it take for a promoted listing to take off? I don't think it should take any amount of time, really. I mean, there's going to be a delay of a couple minutes. But really, as soon as you click the button and tell eBay you're willing to pay money, eBay will start showing it to buyers that are interested in potentially buying it. So for our purposes as sellers, there's really no delay when it comes to promoting a listing. But taking off, listings on eBay don't really take off in how we would think of other things online taking off. Like if somebody makes a YouTube video and it goes kind of viral, you could say that is taking off. Or, somebody writes an article that gets a lot of clicks, then that could be taking off. Items on eBay don't really take off like that unless you're selling in certain categories that have a lot of trending items. Like, if you're selling a Nintendo Switch 2, that listing could take off because that's in really high demand, or it will be after it launches. But for something that has an established market and an established demand, you won't really see spikes in your listing like, oh, it's been listed for a month and all of a sudden it's getting 200 views a day for some reason, unless there's a weird thing that happens. Like in the pandemic, there was that Michael Jordan documentary that came out. I'm sure some of his cards saw spikes like that and they would be taking off. But promoting listings on eBay won't really cause your items to take off. I would say it'll just be showing your item to a steady stream of potential buyers that may be interested in your item, and the higher your ad rate, the more potential buyers it will show your item to. And for really competitive categories, it may be beneficial to use a higher ad rate, but for postcards, I've found, especially since a lot of my postcards, I'm the only seller on eBay that has that particular postcard listed. I found I don't really benefit from raising my ad rate that much, so I use a relatively low ad rate compared to what eBay suggests, and compared to what other sellers use, and I find I have just as much success at higher ad rates, because I have tried higher rates in the past and didn't really notice the difference. But I hope that answers your question. Let me know if you have any follow-up questions. Brad said, I just learned about same sky postcards, another interesting thing. Yeah, I think that was that's a really, I'm glad you said that, because I'm trying to find when that article is from. There's a video about it too. Um, but yeah, that came out when I was really new into selling postcards, and that was kind of crazy because it was almost like a crossover, um, of like a, I don't know, like people that have no interest in collecting postcards thought that that article was very interesting, which I find fascinating. But yeah, the Vox made a video about it, and they wrote an article about it. But the video about it has almost 1 million views. So, uh, yeah, I just think that's really cool. We need more articles about postcards in like the general population, or in pop culture. We need more like postcard related content. Um, but yeah, that was a great article and really fascinating topic. Jenny said, I am in the process of comping a bunch of Fred Harvey cards I bought at a Mary Martin auction. I didn't know he also published cards with Detroit Publishing, but he did. Yeah, Fred Harvey worked with Detroit, and Albert Type are the two biggest publishers he worked with. I'm trying to think. I'm sure he worked with other publishers too, but Detroit Publishing and Albert Type were two of the biggest that he worked with. And from my experience, the Albert Type Fred Harvey cards are usually a little bit more valuable than others. I don't know if they made less of them, or if they're just more desired by collectors than the Detroit cards. But Fred Harvey Albert Types I've had really good luck with. And at the top of the line, I've gotten 60, 70, $80 for some, but I would say for a Fred Harvey Albert Type, at least 5 or 10. I'm getting. But yeah, that sounds like a nice collection you got from the Mary Martin auction of Fred Harvey cards. I still list a lot of Fred Harvey cards, but I'm definitely I don't know if it's the collectors that have changed, or maybe I just look for different things to list now. But for Fred Harvey, I will now usually only list it if it's if there's something else in the postcard that makes it, I don't know, that makes it interesting. Like if it's a postcard of a restaurant, or a railroad depot, or one of his hotels, or a train, something like that, I'll definitely list it. But if it's just a Fred Harvey card of like the desert, I don't know. I don't really list those anymore. Not to say those don't do as well. Um, I just gravitate towards the more interesting views. I'm sure some of the desert ones are really hard to find. Part of it is just me not wanting to have to look through 200 Grand Canyon Fred Harvey postcards to see if mine is a more unique one. And that's probably just laziness on my part. Okay. Oh, it looks like you. I'm trying to copy and paste this. Uh, oh, that's the. Wow. Yeah, that's cool. Uh, nice. Yeah, that's. Looks like it would be really. I love stuff like that that is aesthetically pleasing and also functional. Um, yeah, that's a really nice nightstand there. I approve. I like how the doors. I like that old style of doors where it's the wire mesh on the door. I don't know. Uh, it just oozes class to me. Looks kind of like this one, but it's made of cherry wood. Bought it at the flea market this morning for $15 and didn't realize it was valuable. Nice. Yeah, that's a great pickup for $15. I need to get more old furniture because furniture these days is just not made. I mean, good furniture that is expensive is made really well, but cheap furniture that you can get on like Amazon and what is it, Wayfair, it's just not made very well. IKEA's maybe a little bit better than Amazon and Wayfair, but uh, yeah, they don't make furniture like they used to for the most part. I know some manufacturers still do, but yeah, I was trying to say there that I need to shop secondhand for furniture more because a lot of the stuff they made was solid wood and built to last, but a lot of the stuff we have now is just not the same. Liz said, blue sky cards have a big interest. Everything on the card is grayscale except the sky. Some even say blue sky on the back. Yeah, there's I think there's a few different types of blue sky postcards. There's some blue sky postcards that were produced around the 20s, I think. And they're more of the ones you're talking about where everything on the card is black and white except the sky. And those are really nice cards. And I usually have really good luck selling those. Some other types of blue sky cards are chrome era cards where you can't tell really that anything is up with the image or that it was edited in any way. In the article and video that Brad was referring to, well, I'm guessing he was. So maybe it's same sky and blue sky that are different things. So with the same sky, it was a phenomenon with some chrome postcards. A collector had a lot of chrome postcards made by the same manufacturer, and he noticed that what they would do is take a picture of something and then cut out the background and slap in the same sky that they used on all the other chrome postcards. So if you have a lot of chrome postcards, take note of the sky in the image, because a lot of times it will look like a natural unedited image, but if you compare it to other chrome postcards, the sky looks the exact same and has like the same clouds and stuff because they just put the same sky in a lot of postcards. Because I mean, when you think about it, it makes sense. When you go to photograph something and you're taking a picture of it, you're not always going to have perfect weather. In the business, if you're taking a picture of a car dealership or a restaurant or a motel or something, and you're going to make postcards after you take the picture, you don't want to, have a really dark cloud behind the motel or anything. Nobody wants that. So it makes sense that they would edit postcards in that way. Old Man in the stream said, agree, the old stuff with dovetail joints is way better. Yeah, and there's different qualities of wood now too. Not just, the how it's constructed, but I mean, the really cheap furniture that you get isn't even wood. Some of it's better than others. Some manufactured wood is better than other manufactured wood, but I definitely prefer furniture made of actual wood wherever possible. I mean, some things I just don't, get it made with actual wood because it would just be so expensive, or I hadn't found a good secondhand option. Like this desk that I'm using right now, I don't know if they made desks like this style back then, so I just bought it manufactured wood, but I mean, it's definitely better quality than a lot of stuff out there, but still not as good as they used to make it. And I've had some very poor quality furniture though. In college, we would just obviously try to get everything as cheap as possible because we had a very tight budget. But furniture is one thing we cheaped out on for sure. And the TV stand I got that we used all throughout college, I want to say was like $50 at Target, and that thing was garbage. We got rid of it. We actually sold it to somebody else. Actually, did I? Oh, I gave it away. Sorry, didn't sell it. But somebody did come and pick it up for free, which was nice, and they were apparently going to use it themselves. So, what is that? Reuse, reduce, reuse, recycle. So I reused, or somebody else reused. Um, but that thing was falling apart when we had moved it from Georgia to Tennessee. It like one of the sides of it came off, and I had to like shove it back in because it was just made with the little. I'm gonna try and find a picture of it. I don't even know what to search to find this. Peg things that hold wood together. Okay. It's kind of like that. Kind of like this. Yeah, it was like this. Okay, let me share my screen real quick. Yeah, the TV stand that I had, I still have some furniture made with this, but it was made with or put together with these little wooden pegs that you can see right there, and it was I'm sure when it's done right, it can be really well or really sturdy, but this was very poorly done, and the wood was not. It was like it was manufactured wood, but it was very low quality, and it was really just like a bunch of cardboard stacked together. uh, and because when the wood would tear, it wouldn't look like it would. It looked like cardboard, thin cardboard too. So it was a very. But yeah, this is what it was put together with, like wood pegs like this, um, would or made up the TV stand. I'm glad I got rid of that. And now, yeah, the TV stands we have now are actual wood. Our TV in the living room is mounted on the wall, but I have some very nice TV stands that I'm lucky to have. Let me close out of this. But yeah, I have one in this room actually that I use for postcard stuff. It was on sale. I think it was like a Christmas or Black Friday deal a few years ago, and that's real wood. It's not super high quality, but it's real wood at least, so it's pretty sturdy. And another one I have I use for the TV that I used to play video games, and that one is very nice. And I got it on sale a few years ago. It's a wood that smells nice, and it's not like like how modern wood doesn't even really look like wood, or at least manufactured wood. But it's like you can open up a drawer and it just smells like a pine forest. Very nice. I like furniture like that. Ephemeral said plenty of good old furniture at thrift stores, estate sales, Facebook Marketplace, flea markets, etc. Most of mine are 1920s inherited mahogany with some good modern stuff from sales. Yeah, I need to. Yeah. I don't have any furniture needs at present where I'm like, yeah, I need something to go here, but I'll definitely keep that in mind whenever, I'm looking at this bookshelf I have now that is manufactured wood and just garbage. Like the shelves are, I'm trying to make the shelves are like a curving down or bowing down under the weight of the books, even though it's made for books. So that will probably need replacing at some point in the future. And, I wouldn't throw anything like that out, but probably just give it away for free and have like some college kid that's moving into UGA just get it, and they could probably make it last a few more years. But yeah, I should shop more at thrift stores, especially around us. I think have some pretty good furniture. But estate sales too. I think I would do it more if I had a larger vehicle. Part of the problem is I drive a smaller car, and there's just not really, like, even if I wanted to shop for stuff like that, I just wouldn't really be able to because I wouldn't have anywhere to put it in any way to take it home. But yeah, I love old furniture. I would like to find a nice old desk. I was looking at older desks when we moved to Athens because I was able to get a desk for the first time since I had a room that I could use for an office. And I did look at a lot of older desks, but nothing really or nothing met like the function that I needed this desk to, which just to be like an L-shaped, really large, and a lot of space. Mr. Hot Wheels said, "Hi, Daniel, and everyone else. Welcome in, Mr. Hot Wheels." I think that's what your name stands for. I think I have mispronounced it before as Mr. Hot WHLS or something, but pretty sure that's Mr. Hot Wheels. Do you sell Hot Wheels? That would be interesting. I I think there are some Hot Wheels, especially the older ones, that can be pretty valuable. I think it's what is it called? Red line Hot Wheels, something like that, like the lines on the wheels. Yeah, Red Line Club cars. Maybe that's not the right thing. I don't know much about Hot Wheels. Wait. Okay. This is an old Hot Wheels that's for sale for $22. Actually, I'm gonna look on WorthPoint now because I'm curious how much Hot Wheels can go for. Don't worry, I'm not trying to blow up your spot or sell Hot Wheels. I am just curious because I know nothing about how much they sell for. Although I definitely collected Hot Wheels when I was a kid and had a lot of Hot Wheels, but we always took them out of the package to play with them. We didn't like keep them as collectibles. Okay, so on Worth Point, some of the highest selling ones. There's one that's signed by Batman. It's like a larger one though. There's one that's signed by Michael J. Fox or Christopher Lloyd. Wait, maybe Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd. So it's like a Back to the Future one, DeLorean. That one sold for $560. I want. What's the top selling Hot Wheels car that's like just a regular one that's not like signed or anything, like regular size and not signed. That's what I'm looking for here. A lot of comics. Oh no, maybe this is graded Hot Wheels. Maybe it is comics. It looks like comics. So yeah, the Hot Wheels comics it looks like can go for good money, or some of them at least. Okay, here's oh no, that's another comic. No, it's a oh wow, that's weird. It's just a book that says which ones are valuable. Sold for a lot. Okay, I'm looking for the first regular Hot Wheels. It's all signed. All of the highest selling ones appear to be signed. Wait, that one said scarce. What is that? Oh, those are comics. Yeah, I haven't found a regular size. I'm just sorting by highest price, so I'm sure that's why. But all of the highest selling Hot Wheels here are signed. I'm just looking for like the first regular one. Oh, here we go. Okay, this one sold for, oh wow, that looks really cool. So one here, it was a 1968 Hot Wheels in the box, red line, Grand Prix series, sold for 175, it says on Worth Point. Um, Unfortunately, my Prius can handle fairly. Fortunately, I thought you said. I read that as unfortunately, which didn't make sense. Saying unfortunately, my Prius can handle fairly large items. Yeah, my wife has an SUV, so I guess if I needed to really get anything, I could take her car. Um, and like the seats go down and everything, so that can. I think it has about the same because she had a Prius before that. I think it's about the same type of space. So I guess if I really wanted to, I could take her car, but I haven't found anything that I want bad enough to drive her car yet. In your old place, you had an RPPC book on your shelf. I was wondering if that had some good info in it, or is it mainly cool pictures? Uh, Good question. Let me. It's still on my shelf. Let me grab that. I think it's mainly just cool pictures, but I just wanted to look at it again to refresh my memory and see if they had anything really like about value or useful information. Uh, let's see. I mean, if anything, it would give you a good idea of like the type of. Sorry, this chair is stuck in a rut here. If anything, it would give you a good idea of the types of things that people collect and um, things you may not be aware of had value. So it's definitely good in that regard because not all of these real photos are you going to think, oh wow, yeah, I knew that one would be worth a lot. Like some of these RPPCs in this book, you'll look at and think, oh, that's why they like that, or I didn't know that would sell for so much, or I didn't know anybody would collect that. So it's definitely helpful in that way, but it's a book that's or sorry, I keep saying definitely. I want to stop saying definitely. It is a book that is written for collectors, not sellers or dealers. So the focus is on the images, but you can learn a lot from collectors. And I think that's why the book is valuable. It's been a few years since I read through it, but you get a good idea of kind of what collectors are looking for certain types of real photos. And some are going to be obvious, like Some of them in here were just great signage, and that should be obvious to most sellers that a postcard or real photo postcard that has really good signage is going to be more desirable to a collector. But there's some stuff in here that I was like, wow, I didn't know that people were interested in that. So it's educational in that. If you can get it for a good price, I would pick it up, but I wouldn't break the bank to try to get it. I don't know what it is. Let me look it up on Amazon. Real photo. I think I pre-ordered this book. I'll have to see when it came out. Okay, here it is. Yeah, released June 2022. So I pre-ordered this one and got it when it came out. It's 55% off now, so you can get it on Amazon for 20 bucks. I'd say it's definitely worth it at 20 bucks. And it's a hefty book. It's got what? Over 250, it's got over 300 pages. So just over 300 pages. It's a really good pickup. Mr. Hot Wheels said the true red lines started in 1968 and went through 1977. Yeah, the one that I found that was the first one I could find on WorthPoint that wasn't signed by somebody and was like regular Hot Wheels size is from 1968, so that makes sense. And went through 1977. Then they transformed to black walls, again named for the tires. Cool, good to know. Yeah, I know. I know my dad has a lot of the older Hot Wheels. When I was growing up, I mean, we just got whatever was for sale at the time. So it was like late 90s, early 2000s Hot Wheels. Femoral said for the Boeing bookshelves, place a 1x3 cut to the proper height and place them on each shelf so the 1/3 stack on top of each other acts as strong support for each shelf. Yeah, I could do that. I think I'll just find some college kid and make it his problem now. I actually did that with. I keep pointing it the wrong way. That cabinet it's so hard to point when everything is reversed. That cabinet behind me, I did reinforce the shelves like that. Uh, but the bookshelf, I don't know if it's worth saving because I don't really like it. And I'd rather have a piece of older furniture. So what I'll probably do when I, have the extra time and extra money is give it away to somebody as long as they pick it up and then just get a new one that's older and sturdier that I actually like. Old Man in the Stream said some prototype Hot Wheels are pricey. Yeah, I bet they are. I don't know if this one is a prototype, but CJ said I was always a Matchbox kid. Yeah, I don't mean to sound superior because we never had Matchbox cars, but we always looked at Matchbox as like the Rose Arts. I think it's Rose Arts. Maybe it's just Rose Art. Oh yeah, just Rose Art. We always looked at Matchbox as the Rose Art of little cars, because as a kid when you were getting crayons, the Rose Art were a lot cheaper usually, but the quality they were just like it was like writing with a candle. They just weren't good. But Crayola, that was the Cadillac of crayons. I viewed Hot Wheels and Matchbox like that, but I never had Matchbox. That's just my my stereotype and my belief. But correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe Matchbox were better quality than Hot Wheels. I didn't know. We didn't have Matchbox. Redline Club cars are recent issued remakes. Oh, Redline Club. Yeah, I saw that when I was trying to look up Redline. That's cool. That's cool that they're doing that though. If I was like a Hot Wheels collector, I would. I don't know. I think I would like that they're reissuing the older cars so that you can buy them at a better price. Mr. Hot Wheels said I have a 1968 VW Bug that is quite rare, worth a couple thousand. Wow. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would guess the most, or some of the most valuable ones are from around 1968. That's really cool. I didn't realize Matchbox is older than Hot Wheels. Oh, I didn't either. Maybe Matchbox is the Crayola of cars and of toy or of kids cars, and I've been playing with the Rose Art of kids cars for my entire life. Actually, that's what it looks like because when I search for Matchbox, These Matchbox sell for a lot more money than some of the Hot Wheels, just on Worth Point. I don't know. I could be missing something. Oh, here's a Hot Wheels that sold for $12,400 a couple of years ago. And yeah, I think this is, oh, it says 1971. It's a 1971 purple, manufactured in Hong Kong for just 1 year. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong about Matchbox. I wouldn't be surprised if we were playing with the rose art of cars. I also deal in many other categories and want to get more into postcards. Cool. Yeah, I wish I had the patience to get into more categories and the motivation. I think part of it's just laziness, but part of is also I've just gone full hog into postcards. Is that the term? Whole hog into postcards. But no, that's really cool. I envy people that know a lot about many different things. I mean, I know it's impossible to know a lot about everything or even a lot of things, but I am for sure envious of people who know a lot about a few certain things like Hot Wheels, postcards, and things like that. Because I really only know postcards. Yeah, I mean, some stuff I can get by with, like photos, I know a little bit about. Trade cards, I know a little bit about, but definitely not as much as postcards. Yeah, it always helps to hit the thumbs up. Um, Thank you, Liz. I hit the thumbs up. I appreciate it, everyone. Let the YouTube overlords know you're enjoying the stream. Biff Buffo said, get an old bookshelf at auction. The market is so soft, you will get something nice and sturdy for cheap. Yeah, what I just need to do is look for, I mean, I would have to look for auctions near me, of course, but I need to do that. What is a good website that I can, it's like no, maybe, I guess Auction Zip, maybe it would have, yeah, let me look, I'm going to look for the bookshelf near me. I'll do 50 miles, because then we'd, okay. Okay. Oh, shoot. There's two. Wait. View all lots. Wait, no feature not. Okay, here we go. Oh, yeah, some of these look fancy. But is it searching? I don't know if these auctioneers are near me. Let me see. Oh, no, it's not. I couldn't find any near me. It's just searching, But some of these look really cool. I'm sad that I'm not near any of these. There's this one in St. Louis that I would definitely be interested in if it was near me. I searched my zip code. I'm not sure why it's showing me all these damn bookshelves halfway across the country. Bookshelf. Do I need to type in bookshelves? Oh, nope. Definitely a bookshelf. None near me. Maybe estatesales.net will have them or whatever. Whatever the website's called. 30606. Yeah, maybe I just need to frequent some estate sales for a few weeks, and I'm sure one of these estate sales will have a nice bookshelf, right? CJ said, I always thought the other way around. Details on Matchbox were better, but I didn't really play with them, just stuck them in a box and collected them. Yeah, yeah, we would just play with them. Maybe it's just like, your parents just convince you that you have the good one. Like, I'm sure the kids that had the Rose Art crayons thought they were actually really good. So, yeah, maybe it is just, whichever one you grew up with is the one you thought was the better one. It's like Coke versus Pepsi, I think. Yeah, we had, I mean, Georgia, Coke was from Georgia, but I think Pepsi is too. Maybe, no, Pepsi is North Carolina, I think. Coke, where was it created? Yeah, Coke is from Georgia. So growing up in Georgia, pretty much everybody, like, loved Coke and not Pepsi. But I remember there was a kid in my class in elementary school, and his dad was worked for Pepsi, so he was kind of like I don't know, that was like a unique thing about him. It's like, Pepsi, what? But no, I like Pepsi and Coke. They are both good to me. I don't really have a preference of one over the other, but I just don't really drink any soda or any cola since I don't have caffeine. Um, I'm gonna have to check out some estate sales after this, see if I can find some bookshelves or bookshelf. Mr. Hot Wheels said Tux, Rotograph, and Albertype I know are some of the best brands. Any others I should watch out for? Tux are Tux can be really good, but also a lot of Tux are really common, so it just depends. But Raphael Tuck published a lot of different artists, so some of the most valuable Raphael Tuck cards were, I think Louis Wayne published cards through Tuck, or Tuck published his cards, however it went. So yeah, some Raphael Tuck cards can be worth a lot, but some are more common than others, like with anything though. But yeah, Rotograph and Albertype for sure. There's a few I can just show you. Let me, oh shoot. Okay, I'm pulling up the guide that I published on Patreon, and I'll just go through the guide, because it's not like I'm, you know, giving away the download for free. But if you do want the download, you can always join my Patreon. Can always, people are coming in and out. Some people join for a month and leave for a few months and come back. So I appreciate any support I get. But yeah, just going to show you this guide I have on Patreon right now on the screen. And if you are interested in downloading it, it is available at my Patreon. But I have some of the, or actually this guide is just valuable postcard publishers. So yeah, it should pretty much answer your question. But yeah, Albertype is right here. Auburn Postcard Manufacturing Co. I watch out for. They are mainly active around the 20s and 30s. But yeah, they start as early as 1913 and they look like that. Klein, publisher and photographer. His can sell for pretty good money. C.R. Childs, if you look up, they published a lot or photographed a lot around the Chicago area. And a lot of times you'll see some RPPCs for a small Illinois town. You'll see one that sells for like a crazy amount of money. That's usually because it was a C.R. Childs photograph. S&S is one I look out for. Theirs look like that. They were based in New York, but I think they published all around the country. Frasher's is another one that's real photos, but a publisher too. Fred Harvey worked with, Albertype and Detroit, but so they weren't a printer, but maybe a publisher. H.Z. Zimmerman is a good one. I always look out for these. They have the little Zim man on the back. That's a good one. This one I didn't actually know about, and thanks to Carla who brought that one and the next one to my attention. But this is a really good one from Hawaii, Hilo Drug Co. Or maybe not the next one, maybe one later on. TF Getz is a great one. People don't collect TF Getz, but they do, or they published a lot of small town views. So, and a lot of views that no other publisher published. So those can be really valuable. Burgess cards, which a lot of you already know about, published mainly Virginia. But yeah, that's all the ones I have on my list. I'm, always keeping an eye out for new ones to expand. But for now, that was a pretty thorough list of some of the more valuable ones. There are, of course, always publishers that are, some of their cards can do very well. But, for example, I didn't put Tuck on the list because a lot of Tuck cards are just really common. And if I don't necessarily jump on Tuck's cards, like if somebody says, or if there's an auction up for a box of all Raphael Tuck cards, like I'm not jumping all over that because it could be all, really common Raphael Tuck cards. So I'd have to take a closer look and see, exactly what was in the box before bidding it on it. But in that guide are basically cards that I jump all over no matter what it is a view of. Like, I love all of the publishers on there and always try to buy them whenever possible. Matchbox didn't roll good, so Mattel decided to compete against them by creating Hot Wheels, which were superior to rolling. Around 1970, Matchbox added the super fast line to compete with Hot Wheels. Cool, good to know. Matchbox could never catch up with Hot Wheels. Yeah, I don't want to get into the Matchbox Hot Wheels wars here, but we were a Hot Wheels house. I will say that. I lost out on a 6-shelf high Barrister bookcase that sold for $130. Needed some repair, but a really good deal. I want to protect all my antique books. Yeah, I have a few antique books. I wouldn't consider myself like a hardcore book collector, but I do really enjoy books and reading, so I have a small book collection. And it would be cool to have a really nice bookshelf to go along with it. Biff said, I thought Hot Wheels and Matchbox were generally equal, but Matchbox was a UK company. Maybe it's like an American versus UK thing then. Valentine and Sons are high quality, says Liz. Biff said Barrister bookcases are still sought after, but a normal, well-built bookcase can be found cheaply. What is a Barrister bookcase? Barrister, whoops. I'm sure I've seen one before. I'm just gonna... Oh, okay. Yeah, those look really nice. Wow, people are selling bookcases on eBay. Do these people ship? Wow, yeah. What the hell? You can buy a bookcase on eBay that is shipped to you for $100. How do they do that? And it's also, well, they have zero feedback. So maybe they're not going to be able to ship it for $100. But, I mean, the bookcase looks nice. But very large. Old Man in the Stream said, I also look at the back, and if the card is produced by a small town drugstore or bookstore, they usually have low print runs. Yeah, for sure. And usually it wasn't actually produced by the bookstore or drugstore. It's usually a larger publisher, but they would also, you know, if the drugstore or whatever is the one that paid to have them printed, sometimes they would put the name of the drugstore on the back. Nancy said, is there a dating guide for the numbers on Kurt Tyke? Yeah, Kurt Tyke. I go back and forth with how to pronounce it, but I believe it is Kurt Tyke. What is the name of the RPPC book you talked about earlier? I can answer both of those questions. And actually, I have the Kurt Tyke guide bookmark, so I'll just go over there and copy and paste that link real quick. And yeah, I would suggest downloading this and, you know, printing it off if you want to. But the Toronto Postcard Club published a really good guide for dating the Kurt Tyke cards. Thanks for showing your list. Yeah, no problem. And then the book is, let me see, bookshop.org. I'll get you a link to that in a second. Because it has kind of a generic name, so a link might be better. Real photo postcards. Whoops. Oh, here it is. Okay. There's the link to the book. That is a bookshop.org link because they're a lot better than Amazon, but it is a lot cheaper. Actually, I would say go buy this book on eBay. Patronize your fellow eBay sellers instead of Amazon. Let me find an eBay link with a good price. Yeah, the problem with searching for Real Photo Postcards book on Amazon or on eBay is that you get a lot of Real Photo Postcards. Maybe I can just search in the book category. There we go. Books and magazines. Here we go. Is it expensive on eBay too? Maybe Amazon is the cheapest place to get it. That's disappointing. Okay, yeah, the cheapest price I'm seeing on eBay is 37 bucks. So I would probably just buy it on Amazon as much as it pains me to say. Patronize Amazon. But yeah, it looks like I mean, on Amazon, it's like 20 bucks, which you can't beat that price. 20 bucks on Amazon, 37 bucks on eBay, $41 on bookshop.org. But yeah, I highly recommend the Real Photo Postcards book. It's a great like coffee table book, but it's so informative about what people collect, and really a lot of incredible images in there too. All right, I think I'm gonna get off for today around, I'll give it another, 5 or so minutes, but I have some estate sales I need to browse to see if I can find any bookcases or other old furniture that I have estate sales pulled up on the other page, and one of the titles of an estate sale near me is Christmas Shopping Before Tariffs, which is funny because it's like estate sales aren't gonna ever be subject to tariffs. Like, I don't know who's tariffing estate sales. I don't think anybody is tariffing estate sales. Oh, this is actually in Athens. They have some nice furniture. Yeah, if you have any last minute questions, let me know in the uh, chat. Will you please show us the book with the title? Oh, yeah. Real Photo Postcards, Pictures from a Changing Nation. Came out in 2022. Very well may already have it. I think it was, I don't know. I saw it posted a little bit on some of the postcard groups I'm in on Facebook, so you may have heard of it. Yeah, this pre-tariff estate sale doesn't look too great. Uh, I've never found postcards at an estate sale before, but I think that would be incredible to find a lot of postcards at an estate sale. And I'm always looking. Well, not really at estate sales, but whenever I'm at an estate sale, I always look for postcards. Yeah, a lot of junk there too. All right, I'm not gonna subject you to my browsing of estate sales, so I'm gonna cut it off for today, and I will see everybody next Monday. I should hopefully do a What Sold video next Monday, but if not, should definitely be live Tuesday. Knock on wood. I mean, unless, something crazy happens or I'm super busy or something. But thanks everybody for showing up today. Had a lot of fun as always, and I will see you next time.